If we've learned anything from our recent output, it's that angels are actually freaking terrifying. Like beings blessed with divine power that could hypothetically just take over our lives at any point. Yeah, those are the good guys, if you say so. For that reason, and probably thanks to some clever marketing, this concept was quite popular for a while. All sorts of movies featuring angels at their worst were put out, many of which had genuinely chilling moments. So today we're going to take a look at some of these very flicks and see which have some really scary angels. It's time for the top 5 scary angels in horror movies. Coming at number 5, we've got God's Angels from Legion. You know that old notion of a kind and loving God? Well, that's not happening in this movie. No siree. Apparently at some point around 2010, God gave up on humanity and said, F it. We've done the whole dividing up of languages so nobody can understand each other. We've done the worldwide flood for a hard reset. What's the way we're gonna take down humanity this time? Ah, that's right. Heavenly warfare against folks that have a snowflake's chance in hell of surviving. That is the premise of Legion. God is pissed, so he sends his angelic armies to kill every human on Earth. That is bleak. And they're not like raising people with arrows of light or rapturing up folks real high and then dropping them down. They are stepping right up to the citizens of Earth and tearing them to pieces. It is not a pretty sight. Of course, we kick it all off with an insane grandmother letting a pregnant mom know her baby's gonna burn in hell. She then proceeds to bite a gaping hole in a man's neck and climb all over the walls like a geriatric Spider-Man. Hot start. While that may be the scariest thing that happens here, we've got horde after horde of terrifying angels ready to rain hellfire upon a dusty diner in the middle of nowhere. The winged warriors descend upon this tiny town like swarms of locusts, tearing up anything they can. There are also actual locusts too, just in case you're worried. It is an insurmountable challenge to face down these creatures while keeping humanity's last hope, an unborn child, alive, but Archangel Michael descends to Earth to make it happen. It's a blood-pumping action movie with plenty of horrific scenes. What's not to love? Plus there's that classic bit with the sketchy ice cream man. God, what an image. The wide-mouthed, spindly-limbed dude in a yellow uniform scuttling towards you at top speed. Isn't exactly a movie meant to be taken seriously, but boy, is it fun. Coming at number 4, we've got the guardian angel from A Dark Song. In the end, this angel did do exactly what it was supposed to do, but all the stuff that led up to its appearance was harrowing. Plus, let's be real, summoning a guardian angel through torture and bloodshed and then having it smite your enemies doesn't seem like something a holy and good person would do. If you're unfamiliar with A Dark Song, we'll summarize it now. After losing her young son, a grieving widow decides to rent a secluded house in Wales. She spends her time there alone, dealing with great sorrow. However, she's got an ulterior motive for being there. She wants to convince a famous occultist to guide her through a ritual to allow her to speak to her son once more. This requires the summoning of a guardian angel who will somehow bring her son's spirit to her. Now, the ritual requires a whole lot of commitment, and that the two stay indoors the entire time. This sounds like a recipe for disaster, and it is. The occultist is a bit of a skis-ball, and after the mother refuses to perform a rite of forgiveness, among other things go a little sideways. They manipulate and each other for a while, but fall into some daily routines and become familiar over time. However, the mother has been keeping a secret. She hasn't been totally honest and is really performing the ritual to get revenge on the person who kidnapped and killed her son. So whenever this angel comes, it won't be one of forgiveness and healing. It will be an angel of vengeance and death. Yikes. With this realization, things get a whole lot worse. To summon this angel, the mother must be killed and reborn, and the occultist sustains a festering wound. Demons begin to infest the house and drive the mother to madness. But in the end, the angel does indeed appear, both glorious and horrifying. But was it worth it? Well, I suppose that's up to the viewer. Would you be able to muster up the strength to forgive the person who killed your child after a life-altering ordeal? That's a tough one. Coming at number 3, we've got Gabriel from The Prophecy. If Christopher Walken playing the role of an evil angel waging a war against God doesn't get you to watch a movie, I don't know what to tell you. This 1995 religious thriller launched a whole series of sequels, all concerning Archangel Gabriel's many issues with the way things are being run up top. In this flick, Gabriel is full of tricks, malice, and violence. When an angel can descend from heaven and steal souls from evil individuals to turn the tide of a celestial war, you'd better watch out. He's just so perfectly creepy as he slinks around, mercilessly killing people and attempting to kidnap children. Gabriel does not shy away from torture, nor does he feel the slightest bit bad stealing the souls of people to push his own goals forward. All because God didn't listen to him more. Although that arrogance would eventually be his downfall, he caused a whole lot of chaos in his brief time on Earth. And had he succeeded, heaven would have become a second hell. Now isn't that a terrifying proposition? Coming in at number 2, we've got the fallen angels from Gabriel. We just talked about Gabriel the character in another movie, now we're going to talk about Gabriel the movie. In a post-apocalyptic vision of heavenly warfare, we enter purgatory, which is now corrupted by evil. This forces it to take on the form of a seedy, rundown city where angels and fallen angels must take the forms of humans to exist. This exposes them to human faults and desires. These traits prove much more damaging to angels over time as the fallen angels gain strength from all that debauchery. At times, it's easy to forget that you're watching a movie about angels at all. In the rundown city, every vice possible is there and super exploited. It hinges on absurdity at times, to be honest. These angels and fallen angels indulge in every possible vice and do it to the extreme. We've got angels living in the back of broken down buses, drinking themselves to death. We've got beautiful angels being drugged and employed at brothels. There are people being forcibly given plastic surgery to look exactly like their vain captors and then used as slaves. There are nightclubs full of synthetic drugs to placate and pacify powerful deities. The world is richly imagined, don't get me wrong, and feels like something straight out of an edgy 80s comic book, but these angels and fallen angels hanging out in purgatory are definitely not ones you want to cross, lest you end up a personal pleasure servant or a junkie in a back alley. And finally at number 1, we've got Angels from Jacob's Ladder. Before the 1990 horror gem, and even before the popular carnival climbing game, Jacob's Ladder was essentially a stairway to heaven detailed in religious texts. Originally cited in a dream by biblical patriarch Jacob, it has been used as a symbol for ascension and more. This vision is very different from what Jacob Singer sees in the movie, but there are many parallels here. After returning from war, Jacob starts experiencing terrifying visions in his day-to-day life. He reaches out to fellow veterans who seem to be having similar experiences. However, the visions intensify and Jacob has trouble separating these supposed hallucinations from reality. Is it that he and his comrades were experimented on by the military, or were they experiencing mental issues before even being cleared for combat? Could it be that these visions are visions from angels, similar to the biblical Jacobs? There's a scene in the movie where a 14th century Christian mystic Meister Eckhart is quoted. He says, "The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of life, your memories, your attachments. They burn them all away, but they're not punishing you, they're freeing your soul. So if you're frightened of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels, freeing you from the earth." So could these terrifying visions that are slowly degrading Jacob down to nothing actually be angels? It's hard to say, especially when we also learn that Jacob's unit was secretly drugged with a substance meant to increase aggression before heading into combat. So maybe Jacob really was dead the whole time, feeling the effects of the drug leave his body as his life also fades away. Or maybe his death meant that he had to wrestle with angels and demons before being able to move on. So how about those angels, eh? Pretty scary despite all the halos and wings, right? I wonder when the next religious horror movie boom will happen. So what'd you think of the list? Are there any scary movie angels that put my picks to shame? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more pleasant ones from the top 5 scary Reddit horror stories that turned out to be true part 3. Trash Pondo Pond says, "When I heard of Owlmen, I asked, who? Nice one. Mantis Entropy says, "Isn't it a great feeling when things turn out so well?" Ah, absolutely. Lynn Durbin says, "I really like the way you end all your videos." Oh, me too, because that means I can start on the next one. Don McCarthy says, "I was babysitting my 4-year-old grandson and he was playing with his toy phone. I walked into the room and asked, 'Who are you talking to?' He looked at me and said, 'Your grandpa Ruben.' There is no way anyone told him that my grandfather's name was Ruben." And that, folks, is why you never give your kids a toy telephone. Who knows who they'll call. Jay McLean says, "You lied about the Owlman. Not happy." You and I have a very different concept of what lying is, Jay. Not happy. And that's the time we have for today. I'm gonna eat some of these special menu items from the local hot dog stand. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Angels and Demons, there it is. Oh, it's literally just called Angels and Also Demons. little, just drinking something carbonated and I can feel it. Come on. All right. Summoning a guardian angel through torture and blood. I tried to power through that one. I don't know what it is, Chris. Something about these lights putting me to bed. It's just so relaxing, you know? Nope, this is number 2. What am I saying? I wonder what the next religious horror movie boom. Nope. I wonder when the next. Oh, let's go. Okay, I can't read that fast.